Welcome back to this channel. I'm glad that you could join me on today. I am just going to jump on here to speak a few facts and a few topics of what's going on today. The topic for today is how the modern black church has failed our community. There has been so much going on over this past year. It is literally making our heads spin, and it's almost to the point where I think they are distracting us on purpose, keeping us so busy with everything that's going on around us and everybody who's trying to do stuff to us, whether it be trying to downplay our reparations, or whether it's us having to deal and fight with other people of other ethnicities, other people from different cultures, different countries. I mean, we are fighting on every hand now, more so than ever.
Bishop and a lot of other black people who thought that there was this black and brown coalition. There never has been and there never will be, which is why it behooves black people to stop trying to get in lockstep with people who ain't trying to get in lockstep with you. Get in lockstep with your own people.
So I wanted to get on here because there was something that was said on one of Tariq Nasheed's podcasts the other day, and it really caught my ear. A lot of his stuff catches my ear. I have to also guard my heart when I do listen to what other people say about foundational black Americans, freedmen. I have to guard myself because I don't want to create gunk and junk in my heart for different people, because at the end of the day, I still have to love. I still have to do my part in what I'm required to do, even though I sometimes want to retaliate. Still have to do my part. But anyway, today's topic on how the modern black church has failed the community. When you think about politics, there was a podcast the other day, and I want to say it was African Diaspora, or maybe their other channel, which is the Emancipation page that they have. And it was of this black man, and I believe he was a Kamala supporter. I know he was a Kamala supporter because he's made other TikToks. And his neighbor, who was also a brother, asked could he borrow some jumper cables because he needed a jump start in order to get to work, in order to feed his family. And so the guy who actually voted for Kamala, he went in his trunk and got the jumper cables. And when he looked up, he saw that the gentleman had a Trump sign on the back of his car. And he asked him, "Oh, you voted for Trump? Well, you can't have my jumper cables." And I'm like, this is your brother though. You're being divisive, and you're going to deny his children something to eat because of who he voted for? And so the community is still divided in a sense. And it's sad because at this moment, we all need to be sticking together because we're fighting on every side.
We always want to run around talking about how we the most disrespected and unprotected. And you know what? I agree with that. I'm not saying we're not. But we never want to talk about when we do it to each other. When are we going to start having that conversation? See, that's where the conversation needs to start and stop momentarily until we get our understanding rearranged about what it means to actually respect and protect each other.
And this is where I feel as the black church has failed us. It's not like how it was back in the day. There was something about this particular podcast that really resonated with me. Podcast by Tariq Nasheed. And I'll jump back on here because I do not want to hold this video long. I'll jump back on here and finish up.
Well, listen, it's very important that we discuss things openly because we're already being surveilled anyway. You know what I'm saying? And listen, and she made a good point. I understand where she's coming from. A lot of these people who are not FBA, they kind of gatekeep certain things. They don't talk about certain things openly. They want to keep secrets. Here's the thing with us. I don't mind us talking about certain things openly. We get monitored anyway. We're already monitored. We can't have no real secrets. We're the most monitored people ever. Like I said earlier, They have whole corporate entities that sit up and monitor our conversations. Our phone calls are being monitored, social media monitored, text messages monitored. We're monitored, man. There's an old saying in the street game, all phones are tapped.
So with that being said, you just heard what I heard. I agreed with the lady, and you didn't get a chance to hear it because, like I said, I do not want this to be too long. Certain stuff I do feel like we need to speak openly about. However, there needs to be some type of chamber, some type of outlet, some type of place where we can go and get on one accord. That's what the black church used to be. From Dr. King, even Malcolm X, when it came down to our civil rights, they didn't care where they met. But a lot of people were able to meet at these churches where we could discuss the plights of our community, the things that we needed to discuss in order for all of us to be on one page and to move forward. We don't have that. Every gripe, every position, everything that every problem that we're trying to tackle and we're trying to face, we're doing it outwardly and we're doing it publicly where everybody knows what hand we have. It's like we don't have our cards to ourselves anymore. Whereas during the civil rights movement and even prior to that, even in slavery, even with Harriet Tubman, even with the cornrows that our ancestors used to wear, those cornrows were symbolic, and it was actually maps showing each other where to go and where we were going to meet up and things of that nature. If you look at The Great Debaters, how Denzel Washington, even in that movie, how they had their little hidden meeting spots where they could come and discuss and make arrangements and make plans for the community, to better the community. That's what the black church used to be. And now, most of the black churches, I'm not going to say all, but the majority of them have lost their way. Not only on a spiritual sense, but they have lost the connection with the people. It's okay to have food banks and to feed people, but that's not the solution to the problem. Because when that food runs out, if they don't have resources or an avenue to get resources, then they're going to be back at the church door asking for some more food. Whereas back in the day, you had churches and other organizations and other movements and other groups that actually worked together. They put their differences to the side and they came together because they knew that they were all that they have. That we were all we had at that point. And so the churches was very monumental in gathering everybody together. This church from let's just say North Carolina would gather with other churches within the area, within the local area, and then it would become a regional thing, and then from regional it would become a state thing, and then from the state thing they would go down to South Carolina, and the message would spread throughout the church community. The conversations would be had within the church communities. There's nothing like the element of surprise. And I just feel like the church has failed the community because there's so much into the political stance in terms of Democrat, Republican, Democrat. It don't matter because neither party is for us, but what is in our best interest? How are we going to forward our needs and our demands if we all are not on one page? And this is where the black church has failed. It's all about me, myself, and I. How many members I can get. How much money can I take in. And that's why so many people have pretty much discarded the black church. You have those who were brought up in it. I'm a PK. And I still assist my dad. But at the same time, I stand on business. I know who I truly am. But I see the difference in yesterday's church and today's church. We don't have that type of unity anymore, and that's what the black church once upon a time was. It was that place. It was that safe haven. Most of the time, because sometimes it would get bombed, but that still did not stop our movement. That still did not stop our agenda. And we have been passed a torch, family. We've been passed the torch. And I fear that we have become too complacent. It's beautiful what Dr. King and Malcolm X, all those things that our ancestors have said in the past and what made them so popular. But we really need to pay attention to the ending of their lives. What was their message at the end of their lives? And that's what's important. That's what we need to grasp onto and take off running. So I believe, and you can go back and listen to the whole dialogue from Tyreek's podcast. It's okay to talk about certain stuff publicly, but we need a space. I wish we had a modern day underground railroad. We really need it. We really, really need it, to where our phones, our devices are off, and we're coming together, and we're talking about the things that's going to move us forward. So let me know what you think. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Has the Black church failed us? What is the Black church doing now? Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next video. May the Most High